So next on the list is our partner Utrust. Sanja, there you are. So please give a warm welcome to Sanja. I will start your presentation. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Sanja. I'm the VP at Utrust, and today I'm gonna talk to you about the future of payments, and then there's gonna be an announcement, two announcements at the end of the presentation, so bear with me. I just have a video at the end of the presentation. Is it there? Yeah. Okay. Great, thank you. So I joined Utrust a bit longer than a year ago. And prior to Utrust, I was completely new to cryptocurrencies and blockchain. So I spent more than 10 years in e-commerce and fintech. And specifically prior to Utrust, I was working at PayPal in the UK as head of marketplaces. And basically, while I was at PayPal, what I wanted to do for Europe was to introduce a small hub to test cryptocurrency payments. But they weren't ready yet, so they didn't let me, and then I decided to move and join Utrust as the VP. And I'm going to explain to you what we do as well. When we talk about the future of payments, we need to talk about e-commerce first. So when you think about e-commerce, only 2 years ago, in 2017, e-commerce sales were worth only $2.3 trillion. And in 2 years, so in 2021, the worth of e-commerce will be more than $4.5 trillion. So the growth is really impressive. And it's even more impressive if you think about the weight that e-commerce has on total commerce, which globally it's around 10%. And it's growing 15% year on year globally. So the future of e-commerce and potentially payments in e-commerce, it's huge. And as a seller, we all know why e-commerce is really important for your business. So first of all, it allows you to align with your customer shopping behaviors. And more customers are not only browsing online, but they're paying online and completing the purchase online. It allows you to expand your customer reach because, of course, if you only have a brick and mortar store, you are tied to your offline location, while online you can expand your customer reach potentially anywhere in the world. The third, growth without borders. So by simply being online, you unlock any country in the world to see your products and services. And last but not least, you can get up and running fast. So what does that mean is that you don't need to have your own online shop, but if you want to start selling, you can use Shopify, WooCommerce, you can use a plugin, or you can sell on a marketplace like eBay or Amazon, and you can do it in just one click. So it's really, really simple. However, why am I telling you this? Because this all looks really simple, but there is a really fundamental problem in e-commerce sales, and any seller will know this. And this problem is called the problem of traditional online payments. So basically, to sum up, traditional online payments are not keeping up with the pace of innovation of e-commerce. And why is that? First of all, you get charged whenever money tries to move. And in the next slide, I'll explain exactly why. But basically, you can get charged between 3 and 7% on each transaction, depending on the volume of cross-border trade you do and depending on the number of transactions you have. So especially if you're a small merchant, an SMB, actually like e-commerce on one side would need to help to fuel your business, but then online payments are actually not, because you're paying a lot of fees. Then the second problem is chargebacks. So you all know that a chargebacks is a reverse of the funds to the customer, and that can happen for legitimate reasons, like an error on the seller side, but in 30% of the cases, it happens because of fraud. So for example, someone stealing another person's credit card. And the number of fraudulent chargebacks is growing 20% year on year. And then the last reason is because payments are slow. And this is especially true in the case of an international payment. So it can take up to 7 days for the funds to reach the final merchant bank. So let me just explain to you how a payment works, because usually, it looks really simple. So we think, a customer is swiping the credit card and then the merchant in the back end receives the payment. But what actually happens is that, from the moment the customer swipes, there are a number of different intermediaries in a payment chain. And each one of these intermediaries will take a fee for the service they offer. And this is why, in the end, that amount is really high. So at the top of the chain, there is the issuing bank, which, as the name says, is the bank that is issuing the credit card to the final customer. So basically, they take a fee because every time I pay with my credit card, someone needs to take the risk that I will have enough funds to pay for that product or service. Then there is the payment gateway, or POS system. So that can be a hardware or a software, depending whether I'm paying online or on a POS, but it doesn't matter because it's the same principle. So what a payment gateway does is they send the customer information from the merchant to the issuing bank. They take a fee as well. Then there is the payment processor, which can be Adyen, Stripe, or anyone else. And as the name says, they process the payment, and they make sure that the merchant can accept multiple payment methods as well. They might offer additional services as well. Then the card network, like Visa or MasterCard, they make sure that the issuing bank talks to the acquiring bank, and then the acquiring bank is the bank of the merchant, so they settle funds in. So this is all to say that there are a number of different intermediaries in a payment chain. They each take a fee, and this is without taking into consideration cross-border trade, which has additional costs on top of that. And this is why you pay between 3 to 7% in a payment transaction. So it's not a surprise that many people are starting to pay and to accept cryptocurrencies. And especially as a merchant, as you saw, accepting cryptocurrencies as a payment method has significant advantages. So the first one is lowering your fees. So as you all know, in a blockchain transaction, a payment goes from A to B, so you cut all the intermediaries out, which results in no fees or significantly lower fees. Then no fraud, because once the payment is made, there is no reverse, so you eliminate completely the fraud and the chargeback. Customer acquisition for a merchant, so by opening up to a new segment of customer, you will get new buyers on your website, because these are tech-savvy millennials, generations at customer that otherwise might not have shopped on your platform. It's accessible to anyone, so even the 2 billion people in the world who are unbanked can use it, and worldwide acceptance. So there's no concept of cross-border, because the payment will always go from A to B. And this is a young market, but is growing consistently. So we saw that last year, despite conditions, we added 54 million new crypto users, and this number is growing significantly. And also in terms of demographics, 17% of millennials in Europe own crypto versus 2% of baby boomers. So just to show a different demographic of users. And then, of course, there are some really well-known companies in the world who are entering the space. And when you think about Facebook, it's not only Facebook. So the potential of Libra is huge, because if you think about all the companies in the association, and I have worked in 3 of them, eBay, PayPal, and Vodafone, but there's Uber, Farfetch, etc. So if only part of those companies start to accept crypto, the potential of mass adoption is going to be huge. And then there are really well-known companies who are already making a lot of profits out of crypto. So the revenue from just Bitcoin in Q1 this year for Square was $65 million. And the same for Overstock, they make more than 120K USD per week from only processing Bitcoins. And I think Overstock was the first larger retailer to accept crypto as well. However, like every technology, it takes time. It takes time to be adopted. And if you think about the internet and how internet worked, the first payment on eBay in '95 was made with personal check through email. And a year before that, the first payment online was done. So a guy bought a CD from Sting, and he encrypted his credit card number himself because he was smart enough to do it. So, you know, if you think about the history of online payments and internet, it took some time to come where we are. And the same is going to be with crypto. However, today, there are several issues with crypto, and this is why especially merchants are reluctant to adopt it. So when I speak with merchants, sometimes it's really challenging until I come to explain what Utrust does, but they don't want to be exposed to volatility. So if they price their item $100, they want to receive 100 minus the payment fee. They don't want to receive less. Of course, they would love to receive more, but they don't want to be exposed to the volatility. And also on the buyer side, the rise and fall of the prices doesn't get buyers to really buy for everyday products and goods, but they just hold. Then slow transactions, so as you know, in several networks, it might take up to several hours to complete the payment. That's not ideal as well. You know, especially with sync payments, you need a payment to be processed immediately. There is no buyer protection. It means, so in a normal e-commerce transaction, if I buy something and it comes with a defect or whatever, it's not the product that I ordered, I can open a claim and receive a refund. That doesn't happen in a blockchain payment. So there's no one to protect you if something happens. And last but not least, it's really complicated to onboard. So if you're a merchant and want to onboard yourself a blockchain network, it's really complicated and hard. And so this is why we have the solution in the market, and this is Utrust. So Utrust is a payment gateway. We allow buyers to pay with multiple cryptocurrencies. We immediately convert that fund into a fiat currency that the merchant will then receive in their bank account even the day after if they want. And basically how Utrust was born is because our CEO was scammed. He wanted to buy with Bitcoin. He was one of the first Bitcoin investors. He wanted to use it to buy for a holiday. He used one of the payment methods at the time. And then the day after, he realized that that website was a scam, so he had no one to protect him. And basically, on top of these services, we also offer buyer protection, which I'm going to explain in just a bit. So basically, 3 minutes, okay. What we do is we allow buyers to pay with their favorite cryptocurrencies. We immediately convert that payment into a stable fiat currency, and we pay the merchant. We take 1% fee out of the transaction. As I said before, there is no fraud because there is no credit card infrastructure. I'll just skip a few slides because I don't have enough time. We allow buyers to pay with our wallet, but we enable any other wallet in the market. And the buyer can pay with multiple cryptocurrencies. We also offer buyer protection, meaning that there is the same level of consumer protection as in any other e-commerce transaction. We will intermediate the transactions between buyers and sellers. So in terms of network, we are already a global trusted partner around the world. This is just an example of some of the partners that we have in our portfolio. So companies like Benfica that have 14 million fans around the world, Phone House, Payrex is a payment service provider. And we are part of 500 Startups, which is one of the major accelerators in the US. We have partnered with Uphold in order to be present in literally all the countries in the world. So we serve 184 countries, and merchants can settle into 23 fiat currencies. And we have offices literally everywhere. So we're based here in Switzerland. We have our offices in Portugal, London, and a venture in San Francisco as well. So now I just have a short announcement, and I'm gonna project a video that I hope works from here. Okay.
Whoa, no sound. Sorry for that.
Don't worry. So there was no video, but as you saw, from today, on top of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and UTK, we enable Dash. So if you go to any of our partners' website, you can pay with Dash from today. So even if you go now. And also, we're launching a new merchant today. This is going to be announced in media tonight or tomorrow, not sure, which is WoW Games. So they are an online gaming platform. They have more than 9 million registered customers in the world. So you can pay with Dash as well on WoW Games from tonight or tomorrow. Thank you. So I don't think I have more time, but we have a booth if you go out on the left. So me and Fred will be there to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sanja. And we are looking forward to working with you and do some more announcement about some merchants we are onboarding together. So. We are now with Dash available, and I maybe need to say that again, at the biggest online casino in Europe, because WoW Games is the market leader, and you can pay with Dash there from now on.